It's true, Mr. Miles. Frank Sinatra and Freddie Mercury were man-on-man lovers. Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouted in the street, gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, you big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place, singing, we will love you. You son of a bitch, anti-tracker! You take that back! You take that back right now! He said that Frank Sinatra and Freddie Mercury were not man-on-man lovers. Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, you got...
It's the anti-tracker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
Hey guys, Michael J. Crawford, the anti-tracker here. Auntie is here, but she's hiding just outside of... Oh, there, you can see her for a second. Josh Street throws 99 cents and a turd in there. Thank you, Josh. I truly appreciate that, my friend. And before we get started on anything, this is going to be a short stream, just so you know. I normally stream in the morning on Wednesdays, but today was a little crazy. We'll get into that in just a minute. But I do want to say a very serious, honest, happy birthday to Joe, aka BIRDOPREY5. Speaking of which, there he is exploding.
I got him! Great hit! Don't get cocky.
And I truly hope you had a great day today, Bird. Obviously, if for those of you that were on Midnight's Edge, you know we poked a little fun out of him there. We also poked a little fun on his own stream earlier. And for those of you that didn't see it, Mrs. Anti-Tracker gave Bird a very special birthday greeting.
Happy birthday to you.
I got him!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
BIRDOPREY5.
Happy birthday to you.
So there you go. And for those of you that don't know what the joking was about, because Thomas put in a $1.99 saying Bird likes guys, it's because Bird admitted as much during his live stream today.
I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan.
So there you go. BIRDOPREY.
I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan.
So
I love men.
very good.
I love men.
Okay, good to know, Bird.
I love men.
Yeah, I get it.
I love men.
All right. So thank you, Bird, for sharing. We didn't really need to know that, but okay. So anyway, and Bird decided to pick the least gay super chat. He says number 2.
I'm a better female character than you.
You would be if you didn't spend all your time with that temper tantrum meme guy.
At least I'm not the one on a show with a questionable acronym.
Take it back.
No!
Yes.
Oops. Sorry to bother you.
And I have to say, Bird, I disagree with you about that being the least gay super chat because, you know, look at it. Anyway, the one thing that I did say on Bird's Bird stream today was that, you know, he's 41 years old today, and I said 41 is not old, but next year he will be, and so I will explain that to you, Bird, so you'll understand the math. And you being an engineer, I know that you understand math, so here we go. 41 years ago today, you, as you said, were cut free from Mamo Prey. And at that time that the doctor was slicing you out, that very moment, in that same hospital, a baby was being born. You. 21 years later, you were out partying. You were probably drinking up a ton. You were out, just having a blast for your 21st birthday. 21 years after that, a baby being born on your 21st birthday is out partying and drinking. So on your 42nd birthday, you are old. So congratulations, Bird. You have 365 days left before you are old. So that's number one. And by the way, guys, no, I'm not going to be getting into the chat too much here because this is going to be a brief stream, but I do thank all of you guys for hanging out with me. Vile Mike is working on, I'll just do the stuff addressed to me. I know a few people said hi, thank you to all. Cinnabon was actually first today. BIRDOPREY said thank you for the happy birthday. Rambling Canuck says hello. And by the way, Rambling Canuck, you did a wonderful birthday video to Bird today. If you have not seen it, you should check out Rambling Canuck's happy birthday video for Bird. It was very touching, very nice. And it's, I think, sentiments that we all feel. Even when we kid around, Bird, you're so fun to hang around with. That's why I love you, man. And that's why I do tell people to subscribe to you. Vile says, I'm working on a Star Destroyer versus Connie video right now, Trigger. Now knowing that each can fire at similar ranges, do you still feel that Connie would win? First of all, why do you figure now knowing that each can fire similar ranges? Because I would still maintain that a Constitution class has a significant range advantage over a Star Destroyer. From what we've seen, unless you have something that I don't know about, from what we've seen, Star Destroyers have a max range of somewhere in the tens of kilometers, while Constitution class can clearly fire in the hundreds of thousands of kilometers. So where are you getting this range equivalency? However, even if they could fire at the same range, you're talking about a plasma weapon versus phasers. And plasma weapons, we know, can pack a good punch because the Romulan vessels fired plasma weapons. And so I would say that if they had similar range, could the Connie still win? Yes. Mainly because the Connie has a huge maneuvering edge and a huge targeting edge. We very rarely see in Star Trek, particularly the original series, the Enterprise just clean miss its target unless it's going against something incredibly fast, moving at multi-warp speed. So a target moving much faster than the speed of light can occasionally miss, but at a Constitution class rarely misses when locked on target. However, Star Destroyers actually rarely hit their target in comparison, and that's targeting ships that are moving at sublight speeds. So I think that alone would also make a critical difference. Valor wants to know what it's like being younger than me. Well, that's something that almost everybody can answer. Nightbreeze says hi. Multi-Gunman says, how's it going? I'm hanging in there, my friend. Thomas says, my phone almost made me give you $99.99. Too bad it didn't. Life with Matthew says, hello from the road. Hey, Life with Matthew, hope you're having a good road trip. Stuart says, hello, and Trigger, happy birthday to the bird. As we know, bird is the word, indeed. Today, bird is officially the word. Multi-Gunman says, Anti-Trigger, Anti-Beagle has 75% of my attention. Yeah, she does that. And BIRDOPREY put the link to the Rambling Canuck video. Thank you, Bird. Valor says, BIRDOPREY5 still younger than me. Yeah, that's true. Did you notice Last Jedi isn't on Disney+? Yeah, so we actually talked about that briefly on Midnight's Edge. That has nothing to do with Disney like trying to bury it or something. It's just that The Last Jedi is still under contract to be on other services. So it will go to Disney+ eventually. And same thing I think with Solo. I think Rob said Solo is also not on there. I didn't look for it, but apparently it's not there either. Spies Like Us says Constitution class is better. Well, duh. And happy birthday. Yes, today is Bird Day. That's something we should all remember. November 13th, Bird Day. And, I'm just curious. So, let me see. So, this is 2019. And so, that means Bird was born in 1978. Just checking here. 11/13/1978. Oh, too bad. So Bird was born on a Monday. I just think it would have been hilarious if Bird was born on a Friday. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Wolverine says, that's a dark side of the moon. Nice shirt. Thank you. I do love this shirt. Josh says, how does it feel to be older than the universe and being the 1 trillion Kuroga round man? Von Mike says, I've been doing my research that older ships than the Imperial Star Destroyer, but using similar weapons can fire the 100,000 kilometer range, and I'm applying that to the ISD as well. Okay, so let me ask you though, Vile, what is your source specifically? What is your source? Are you using canon sources, or are you using books and stuff that are because quite frankly, they'll write all, the books also say that a blaster fires, 100 gigatons of force, which is obviously a load of crap, because then a freaking TIE fighter could blow up a planet. Thomas Preston says, are you putting up the address for cards for Mama Bird? BIRDOPREY, if you want to put a link to the Mama Bird stuff, you certainly can, but you got to be careful about mentioning it because she could be listening in right now. So which I realized as I was reading that. So I apologize if I did anything bad there. Both Solo Last Jedi are on Disney Plus. I saw them in the lineup. I did not, but I wasn't looking for them. Let's see. Will you be around to choose a base in the next Space Engineers round? Yes, we'll, Bird, I'll tell you what, why don't we figure on, I'm trying to think of my schedule for tomorrow. I do have an appointment tomorrow morning. So what I'll do is, Bird, as soon as I'm home from my morning stuff, I'll hit you up and see if we can get things started. Multi-Gunman says, still use Netflix. The overall quality has been steadily declining. I have dropped Netflix a while ago, so... could an Ober take on a Super Star Destroyer? If you look at what you see in Alpha Canon, I think the answer to that is yes. Which I think that's why I'm curious to see what Vile's sources are for everything. And Bird says, don't mention it again. Yes, luckily she was outside. Good. I'm glad to hear about that. So that's something we shall not discuss. However, we'll try to keep it on the down low and just stick with what Bird said. I'm sure that Bird, if there's a link on your website to how to get to all that stuff, maybe you could post that if you wanted to. And is Disney Plus worth getting? If you like Disney movies, if you don't own the Marvel movies, if you like Pixar, if you like the Star Wars films, yeah. I mean, it's $6.99 a month. I think it's not bad for what you get. The Mandalorian, it's not worth it for just the Mandalorian, but I think for the back catalog of pretty much everything Disney alone, that's worth it to me. Also, when we see the ISD firing on smaller ships like the Blockade Runner or the Falcon, their objective seems to be capture, not destruction. As for my citation, current canon, TV, and novels. Okay. Novels, I generally reject out of hand because if you see, and this is, granted, I know some people bitch and moan about this constantly, Vile, but I will, and you can do it however you want, of course, and I don't have a problem with that. However, when I'm discussing canon, if you have any kind of conflict or contradiction between what you see on screen versus what's in a book or what's in a secondary source of any kind. So like for Star Wars, the primary source is unfortunately, 10 movies, right? Secondary would be the animated shows and stuff. And then tertiary would be novels and stuff like that. If there's no conflict, fine, right? However, if there is a conflict, animated series trumps books, movies trump animated series. And from what we've seen in direct evidence on the movies is that the maximum range of a Star Destroyer seems to be around the 20-kilometer range. They've never engaged further than that. And of course, thanks to The Last Jedi, which I know people hate, but is in fact canon, we actually get to see directly what the maximum range is, and you can calculate it. Doesn't take that much to figure it out. And I believe it was about 20 kilometers. I'd have to go back and look, but it's in my videos on it. So if you say that, well, in this one book, they say you can target at 100,000 kilometers. Fine. Then how do you explain the fact that clearly in The Last Jedi you could not? You could argue that the technologies have somehow regressed, but the First Order tech seems to be more advanced than Imperial tech overall. So, or at least equal to. So I don't know how you can make that argument. Anyway, but so that's my problem with it, Vile, is that you get direct contradiction, and that's where if I see that it clearly shows this on the screen, then that's what I go with. If it's something that you don't have clearly on screen, but they explain in, say, the Clone Wars or Rebels or something, fine, go with that. If it's something they don't explain on screen and they don't explain in Clone Wars or Rebels, but they explain it in a book that's considered part of the Disney canon, fine. But as far as maximum range, Last Jedi, mic drop, end of story, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, back to an important question from earlier that I do want to address, and that's Mrs. Anti-Trekker. Some of you know that the reason I did not stream this morning, and I was planning on doing a big Happy Birthday Bird stream this morning, but I just couldn't get it done. And that's because, unfortunately, Mrs. Anti-Trekker had what's called an absence seizure today. And that's, she suffers from what's called, I believe, and if she's watching, she'll correct me, but I believe it's called non-specific seizure disorder, if I remember correctly. And what that means is basically she has seizures, but she does not have epilepsy. That's kind of the basic version of that. And that condition means that she takes seizure medication. She has been for years and years and years. And fortunately, the medication she's had a few grand mal seizures in the past, but since taking the medication, that has not happened. The only time she's actually had a grand mal seizure since she started taking medication for it was when she ran out of medication. So that's number one. So the grand mal seizures are the ones most people think of when they think of seizures, where people convulse and collapse and all that, and it's very scary for most people. An absence seizure, which she still does have occasionally, but she hasn't had one in quite a while, and it can be very unnerving. Imagine that your brain is a computer and somebody hits Control-Alt-Delete and reboots it. That's kind of what happens. Like today, we were at the store, and just out of the blue, she completely had no idea where she was, what was going on. She was completely confused and disoriented for several minutes. We had to sit in the parking lot for a little while till she could kind of regain her composure, because unfortunately, with the condition of my leg, I can't drive a car. I was like, for the drive home, I was hyper aware of what was going on to make sure, and talking to her, making sure she was aware of everything. Because when you get in that mode, you could just think, everything's fine as you're driving off a cliff. You wouldn't know. And so that's the scary thing about that type of seizure. And so it's not that she just suddenly convulses and collapses, it's that she suddenly has no idea what's going on and could inadvertently do something very dangerous. So then we get home, she's been resting the rest of the day, she is fine, but it's just something that happens every once in a while. So those of you that have been concerned, thank you so much, but that's really the only reason I didn't stream earlier today. But I want to make sure that you guys knew, yes, Mrs. Anti-Trekker is fine. Her life is not in danger or anything like that. Blame Paramount for saying the novels are not canon. As far as Trek, well, I would say the same thing as far as Trek is concerned. Like, there are soft canon resources in Trek that you can use. For example, the Starfleet technical manuals or Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise and stuff. And most of that stuff is based on actual information they got from Paramount or NBC or Desilu or CBS. However, if anything in any of those books is in even the slightest bit of contradiction to what you see on screen, the answer is what's on screen always trumps it. And so I apply the same rules to Trek. The difference is that with Trek, I almost never use anything other than alpha canon, meaning if it's on one of the shows or one of the films, that's it. And the difference between Trek and Star Wars is that the television shows are actually primary canon as opposed to film, because that's really where the Star Trek franchise rests, is on TV. Where the Star Wars franchise actually rests in film. And Jaeger put $5 in. I actually have an update for you, Jaeger. Give me just a couple minutes, and I'll get to your chat, and then we will we'll talk. Resolute says directly cited numbers trump your visual estimations, unless the directly cited numbers are impossible, and it's not just visual estimations. You actually do see maps and gauges on the Star Destroyer and also on the Rebel ships, or sorry, Resistance ships, that show a clear diagram of the max range of the Star Destroyer. And it ain't that far. So, yeah. On November 26th, there's a Galaxy Quest documentary out there. Very cool. I do love me some Galaxy Quest. Don't make me rewatch The Last Jedi again, A-Trigger. Sorry, Vile. Sorry, but you know what? Canon is canon, my friend. And if you want, I'll send you the clip. Or just look at my video. I think I show it. Off to go film in a minute, but wanted to say happy birthday again to Bird. Get well soon, Mrs. A-Trigger. Thank you, Rock Solid, and you have a good one, my friend. Captain NKG says best wishes for speedy recovery. She is doing much better. She really is. Nightbreed says praying for her. Thank you, my friend. I only got about 5 minutes left, so bear with me. Stuart says the Imperial Navy and 40K love to get in close and fight, drag close up, close over ship to kill them and then board them. The problem with that is that, and I know you're talking about 40K as opposed to Star Wars, but there's still a problem here, is even if you want to argue that the tactics of the First Order / Empire is to get in close just because they like to get in close, that doesn't explain what you see in The Last Jedi. And that's the big problem. You're going to have to, Vile, you're going to have to get around the fact that in The Last Jedi, it is crystal clear what the maximum range of one of those ships is. And I will give you a hint. You can't see a ship that's 100,000 kilometers away. And yet they literally look out the window while the ships are beyond maximum range. Jaeger says, feeling better. Happy birthday to Bird. Pardon the pestering. Seen 40K Hells reach us. What is Bird's favorite super chat? My gift to him. Well, Bird, you get to pick another super chat. So let me tell you, I've watched about the first hour or so of Hell's Reach. I'm having trouble following it. I'll be honest with you, Jaeger. I think that the problem with first of all, the style of it, not bad. I mean, it's not my favorite style of animation, but that's not a problem. My problem is that they kind of assume you already know who all the players are, because there's no exposition. They just kind of drop you in the middle of it and, oh, by the way, I've been fighting for our forces for 14 years, and this is what we do, and I'm going to go kick some butt now. And I'm like, wait, who are you? Why are you fighting these guys? What's the problem? Why is there a war? Don't know. They don't really, maybe later on in this, they get into it, but so far, I'm like, going, I don't see anything. But thank you, Jaeger. And Bird, you can choose an Uber chat now, so let me know what you want, my friend. Just a quick hello. Hiya, me and Mrs. Sci-Fi are off to bed, my friend. All right, Sci-Fi Nation, thanks for dropping by. You take care. Where is the MCU Aunt May Naked? I checked all over Disney Plus, Alexander. I did not see MCU Aunt May Naked anywhere. And Jaeger says, always worth the wait. Well, thank you, my friend. But yes, I have been watching it a little bit. But I'm having a difficult time following it. That's my big problem. And I will not read that one, but hopefully all of you did. Perhaps they increase the power of the blast at the expense of range. There's no indication of that, though. That's the problem. The only weapon we see fire at a long range is specifically a planetary bombardment weapon. And apparently only dreadnoughts have such a capability for whatever reason. Now, I understand that you see in books and stuff like that, that Star Destroyers completely decimating planets with their bombardment abilities. And if that were the case, why has it never happened in a film? When that would be very handy, especially in situations like The Last Jedi, where they had to bring in a different ship specifically for planetary bombardment. Resolute says there's no scale given in those sources, Anti-Trigger. They're just show pictures. That doesn't change the fact. Okay, Resolute, unless you want to argue that the resistance ships are hundreds of kilometers long and the First Order ships are millions of kilometers long, or well, thousands at least, there's still no argument to be made. you can say that all you want, but there's no argument to be made, because that is physically impossible unless the scale of the ships is so incredibly out of whack that these ships are like the size of small planets, that range is that significant. And so Bird of Prey wants UBERCHAT number 1. You got it, my friend.
This is CNN.
Enough about politics. I'm hooked. I'm gonna dance for you.
And there you go. Of course, Bird picks the one with AOC in it. Jaeger says, I understand. Thank you. Josh says, you must be wishing that you got the $1 million before you hit the 10K mark. Yeah, kind of, but that's okay. The next big thing is going to be 100,000 subs or $1 million, and Mrs. Anti-Trekker will show her face. Resolute says, it's 40K. All there is war. Okay, well, maybe so. Stuart says, agree with you on the ship and guns. Without good technology and the time for the round to hit, they'd be out of range. Yeah. And actually, and even if you look at the speed of the weapons in Star Wars, there's no way they could track a target that can move faster than light in combat. Keep in mind, and this is a big deal for I want you to think about this, File, is we've never, Star Wars ships don't use warp drive, they use hyperdrive, right? And in hyperdrive, there's no combat. In warp, there is, which means that a Federation ship can engage the Empire or First Order, whatever you're using, at faster than light speeds, while the Empire cannot. They can only use their faster than light to escape or to engage, but they can't actually fire their weapons or anything, or actually be in combat while in hyperspace. Many think the Trek Tech sensors couldn't pick up Star Wars hyperspace. What are your thoughts on that? No, actually, I think there is an equivalent in Trek, which is called transwarp conduits, and you can detect incoming transwarp conduits. So, there you go. Bradley says, as a creator I watch a lot, got his live stream donations, ad money all claimed up due to a creator I watch a lot got his live stream donations, ad money all claimed due to a copyright claim. That sucks. Ensign Ricky says Federation. Oh, by the way, haven't seen you in a while, Ensign Ricky. Welcome. Federation sensors are amazing. Very true. Star Trek does the same thing. It often shows ships at point blank range firing at each other. Actually, what's interesting, Wesley, that is true in the Dominion War for sure. However, rewatch the original series, my friend. They actually do combat better in the original series than any other Trek series. But another difference is that in Trek, they talk about it during the combat. What a shocker. Bird of Prey picks AOC. Yeah, I know. Every ship battle in Trek from TNG on has the same problem. Well, keep in mind, Resolute, I'm not talking about TNG on. I did a Constitution class specifically against a Star Destroyer, and that is not a problem there. However, you could argue that for TNG. That you see that, except that it's already been established, the ranges. So I went to the movies the other day and saw a Star Wars trailer came out. I probably forgot episode 9 is next month. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Breaking, Anti-Trekker gets 100 million subs in seconds. That would be freaking awesome. However, I do need to wrap it up because Mrs. Anti-Trekker, like I said, she's resting, but it's dinner time, and I promised her that I would keep it short. What is the poll by Anti? What poll? There's not a poll by Anti, I don't think. Unless, are you turning, no? Oh, I think over, yeah, there, that's the leg to a table, but if that's what you're thinking of. Anyway, if that's, or if you're talking about, I can't really reach it, but that's her leash. But that's about it. When it comes fast and light, in 40K, they jump into hell and move with the warp winds and jump back out. Well, I don't know what the warp winds are, though. Darren says Fantasy Island Trail is interesting. I agree. I think it looks interesting. I'm going to do a breakdown of it in the near future. All right, guys. So And Ensign Ricky agrees with me. Star Trek has an overwhelming weapons distance versus Star Wars. You are 100%. No, I don't have Anti tied to a pole. Jeez. Jerks. All right, just for that, Bird of Prey, now I'm going to make you suffer. So, let's bring this back.
I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan.
Let's see, so, let's,
I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men.
Wait for it.
But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. That's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. That's me saying it, not Darth Revan.
Oh, I know, I'm a jerk.
Let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, you got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place. We will. You. It's Trevor Frank Sinatra and Freddie Mercury were man-on-man lovers. Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouted in the street, gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, you big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place, saying, we will love men. That's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth.
I got him!
That's painful. So, thank you. Rock Solid. Put in $1 super chat, and at the same time, I saw, because I forgot to bring up my dashboard, so I couldn't quite read it. It was Chris put in $5. How long before that becomes a super chat reward? I might have to do something with that. I actually have a few good clips from Bird of Prey's live stream. So I will wrap it up with number 17. I do need to go, though, because Mrs. Antricker is waiting for me. So, guys, take care and enjoy Rock Solid's gift to all of you.
Hey, you want to learn about Jesus?
There's no such thing as hooker-client confidentiality.
And real quick, though, one last thing. So, Chris, since you did put that $5 in, did you want an UBERCHAT reward? If you do, tell me now, because I'm running out of time here. So, you tell me if there was something you wanted, and hopefully, waiting. Clock is ticking. I know, gotta give it the stupid delay. Let me type it into the chat. That'll probably be faster. UBERCHAT. So we'll see. Giving him a second here. And ticking time bomb clock going. Is he going to pick something or no? Do, 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 do. That's just like riveting entertainment here while I'm waiting to see if Chris responds. Hey, Chief Cook, good to see you. And sorry, Alexander, I don't have MCU Aunt May naked at this point. Just don't have it available. I've been looking for you, but so far, no luck. All right, Chris is not answering. Mrs. Aunt Tricker is waiting, so I am going to wrap it up, guys. Take care. Have a good one. And remember...
Darth Revan, I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth Revan. I love men. But that's me saying it, not Darth